Hey, traders, Adam here from Bull Logic doing another market analysis with you. S&P down 0.57%. Nothing really unusual happened today like we were talking about yesterday. We expected another down day to blow through that 20-day moving average and that 1440 support that we had. Remember, the markets like to move below and above support and resistance lines. They overshoot them a lot of times. We still have good support in that 1430 and then down into the 1420 level, which is our main big support. A break below that will get us a lot more defensive, but right now we're just being very constructive from a bullish perspective. We are short-term oversold, so I would expect us to see a bounce going into tomorrow or maybe even Friday. Maybe we come down to this 1420 level a little bit closer into tomorrow, but one of these 2 days I really expect to see a bounce higher put in, at least get us out of that short-term oversold and really get us pushing on these support areas and maybe another run back into the highs of this market. One thing to note and why I'm very bullish here is because one, we do have all these support levels that are about to come in if the market does decline a little bit further. Two, we also have the rising moving averages, the 200-day, the 50-day, even the 20-day is rising even though we are currently below it. And three, we are just not fearing the downside right now. There hasn't been any big pushes to the downside. Yes, yesterday we had 1% down, but that hasn't been big compared to the up swings we've been getting. You know, the breakout here, the breakout here, here. All these breakouts have been big moves over 1%, 1.5%, 2%. We're really rallying to the upside and just kind of slow grinding it back down to the downside. We had a couple of big down days here at the beginning, but that's when the market was still coming down and we did not know what we had on our hands at the time. But as of late, we've been just getting slow grinds to the downside and big pushes to the upside. So as long as that's going to continue, I'm still going to remain bullish just until we see a nice big move or big flush to the downside. Then I'll start stepping back and be like, yeah, okay, we need to get defensive here because there might be some selling coming in for the medium term, I would say. Looking at the NASDAQ, it has actually made it down into the support, so we definitely need to see if this is going to turn around and balance. It is short-term oversold. It's amazing how these things just go from being short-term overbought to short-term oversold in just a couple of days, but it has happened, so we just need to see if we actually do get a bounce here and maybe a push back into this resistance line here. Russell 2000, another stock or another index that has come down into this actual support. We'll have to see if it bounces. Again, this is oversold. All these indexes are now oversold, but we still remain very bullish on them. We have another support line here at the 825 level, so we're going to have to watch that and see if that gets tested going into tomorrow. VIX did get some legs on it today. It was up in the 17s, over 10% at one point in the day. That was great for our position and our VIX position that we had. Definitely cashed that out at the right time. We'll have to see if it's going to start to move sideways here. I expect us to be under 17 and maybe start pulling back a little bit. Transports are moving sideways like we were looking for. It is still oversold, so we were looking for a consolidation or a sideways move before we can actually judge to see if it is going to continue down further. Remember, things like FedEx were all oversold. UPS still oversold stock, so it's hard for the transports to get moving when things are already oversold. Bonds have been running big. They passed the 200, the 20, and now they're running into the 50. They're very overbought. I would expect a pullback here, maybe even a sideways move, but I would really expect to see a pullback on this one. Other things that have been oversold, things like materials, technology, financials, even biotechs are starting to get pretty oversold. Nice bounce on the 20-day moving average coming in for that one. So all these things being oversold and everything starting to hit support, I would expect to start seeing bounces come in. We're just not seeing the big pushes to the downside as we are to the upside. So I'm going to remain bullish. I'm going to start testing out some long positions, start getting some swings in there. I'm not going to do my whole portfolio, but I will test out some positions here and there and see if we can't get something rocking and shaking. All right, everyone. Stay safe out there, and I will see you tomorrow.